Amazon in general, I wanted to go over a few things that you can do to hopefully ensure your success a little bit more. So I pulled up some examples of some products using Keepa. And if you're not using Keepa, this is like my number one go-to tool, as well as most people selling on Amazon. It's I don't want to say it's a completely free tool, but it's free for everything you're going to want to use. They do have a lot of development and higher-end pro features, but nothing you really need to pay for to do everything you're going to want to do to research for Amazon. So, there's a lot of ways that you can compete with Amazon, as I've said, and other people have said in our Sourcing Secret group. But I just wanted to show you some hard examples of just a few different scenarios where you're going to be able to really be able to compete and see that Amazon is sharing the buy box, they're giving up the buy box, they're in stock sometimes, they're not. Sometimes you're able to sell higher than them, sometimes you're able to sell lower than them. Sometimes they're just not in stock very much, and you're not going to know any of that information just by looking at an Amazon page. But what Keepa does is they're actually contacting Amazon, sometimes once a week, sometimes dozens of times a day. It just really depends on how popular that product is, how much people are searching on Keepa, what the sales rank is, and a few different issues. But what they do is they go contact Amazon, they look at the sales page, and then they're pulling all the data. What the price was, how many competitors, who had the buy box, how much it was, and then they plot it all into a graph along with a bunch of other data points. So it's amazingly useful, for sellers like us. And another thing I want to mention is that, I'm just showing these as examples, so you really don't have to worry at all about what the product is, if you're approved. We're just looking at, the data that's being shown. So, in this first example, if you haven't used Keepa, the orange part here, and you can hover over any of these, and then any of these data points, and it's going to show you exactly what each thing means. So when we're looking at the buy box, we're actually looking at these orange spots. You can see orange goes with the buy box. So when we hover over any point, it's going to show you whatever information was available. They don't pull all the information every time they pull Amazon, but whenever you hover over whatever it is you're looking for, you're going to see that information. So we're looking at the buy box right now. Even though Amazon was selling it at $16.79 at this point, the buy box was $12.94, and it shows it was held by a third-party seller. It also shows that, a third-party FBA seller had that at $12.94, even though they were in stock. And, you can see all over this price graph, what is going on here. It shows the list price. It shows, this item is a toy, so it's able to be sold in collectible condition. So the collectible price was $24.95. The list price was $19.99. The new price, which could have been fulfilled by merchant seller, was $12.45. Sales rank was 11,287 at that point. And then the new FBA price was $12.45, and the buy box again was $12.45. So we can see there was no, Amazon wasn't on it at the time, but it was clearly still below the Amazon price. But for the most part, it's almost always the buy box is being held by someone other than Amazon, in this situation. So if it's lower than the Amazon price, means you can sell it lower than Amazon. And a lot of times Amazon is pricing things, and then you'll see price changes. Even here, there's subtle price changes. Sometimes there's big price changes, and they're usually not competing with you as a seller. They're competing with the other big box stores like Walmart or Target. They may have a deal on a product. Well, they're going to match that price most often, so they can compete with those big box stores, because a lot of people are just shopping online and using, a retail store a place just to look at the physical product. So they'll go into Walmart or Target or Best Buy, scan the product, with the Amazon app, and then buy it. So Amazon always wants to compete with those other stores. And most often they're not trying to compete with you. There is one caveat to that, which I posted some videos in the group about it, but, if it's books, they almost never give up the buy box. They have special deals with publishers that tell them that, that they have to either keep a certain price, or they always have to have it available, or, they have to be the one selling it, or whatever it may be. But there's different deals with different, different writers, different publishers, different, publishing houses and all that. So Amazon can sell those books. So, they almost never give up the buy box on a new item. In that case, you probably just want to sell it as used, like new, something like that. But we're not really looking at books here, and books really don't apply to, source your secret. So, I'm going to go on to the next, example. But, in this situation, you're able to sell it lower than Amazon. Sometimes they give up the buy box even selling higher than Amazon. Sometimes they're rarely in stock, like this one. We're looking at the last months here, but with Keepa, you can go from the day. You can do ranges. So if you want to look from March to April of last year, you can just do that. Or you can look at 3 months, or you can look at as long as they've been tracking it. And the way they track things is they only start tracking it when somebody looks it up in Keepa. So, if you bring a new listing to Amazon, create the listing yourself, as soon as that listing's live, I would go to Keepa and look it up, because then they'll start tracking it from then on. So this one's been tracked 229 days. Some are tracked 500, 600, 700 days. It just depends on the product and, how long it's been live. And, just because it's been live for 5 years doesn't mean it's been getting tracked for 5 years. So in our next example, we can see that the buy box is, considerably higher than Amazon's price. Amazon's price seems to always be $7.25. Sometimes it's down here to $6. We're looking at 3 months history. We can go out to 1,076 days on this one. And we can see that, the buy box price is higher than Amazon, even though they're sometimes, in stock. Now, if you were going to, for example, if you were going to go and buy, research this product when Amazon happened to be in stock, one of the very rare days that they were in stock, which is probably just, maybe a day or two here, we're going to see that, you would just see, oh, they're in stock, the prices are similar, probably not worth competing with. But when you look at the history here, we can see that, the buy box price is, considerably higher, maybe, 25, 30% higher than what Amazon sells. And Amazon's rarely in stock on this product. So it's almost always third-party sellers that are selling, this product. And you wouldn't know that by just going to the Amazon listing. Okay. So the next one, is again, Amazon is very rarely in stock. We're looking at 3 months history here. So, we can see that Amazon's price is $5.99. The third party buy box is sitting at, $13.68. It's almost worth buying from Amazon when they're in stock. And then, sending it back in, because they're selling for $6. It's almost $14 for the buy box normally. Sometimes it's higher. I mean, it was at $16 here, and the list price is only $5.99. So, we can see that, there's a ton of money to be made. But again, if you're not looking at the right time, you're not going to see, all this information. And you can see the third party price is way up. It does drop down when Amazon's in stock, but, that's pretty normal. All right, so the next one, this was one that Amazon was not a seller on. Let's see this. Okay, so they are a seller very rarely, even when they are in stock. They're not getting the buy box. They have a very little amount of this. We're looking at a 3 month graph here, and you can see in 3 months, They were in stock basically from 2 a.m. on March 13th to 5 p.m. So like 16 hours they were in stock, and they had already sold all of it. It has a very good rank. It was around 5,000, so they probably had hundreds of them, but that was, it doesn't take long to sell out of that, and we can see that the price just is never hitting Amazon's price, but still selling very, very well. Even though Amazon's, a seller on that, and, so, okay, so let's see, let's look at this one. Again, even when Amazon's in stock, we're looking at, buy box prices that are, Amazon did have the buy box here, at this one moment out of, this looks like a whole month here. But, even when we look at, the overall history here, it sells considerably well. 15,000 rank. It looks like it averages for the most part when Amazon's not in stock. So, this is, a great product to, again, it's a great product to look at. So, there's a lot of different ways that you could be buying, and still competing with Amazon. So, please don't exclude products. And, and remember, if you're researching a wholesale line to sell, don't use one or two products. Even if you download the brands list out of Sourcing Secret and there's 2 or 10 or 20 different products from a brand, we still want to you still may want to investigate that brand, because just because there's 10 listed on Amazon doesn't mean there's only 10 available. That list is just a way to research the products that are already selling on Amazon. When you go out and contact that brand, even though they have 10, they may have 100 or 500 or 1,000 different products in their line that aren't being even sold on Amazon yet. So even if, there's a lot of competition, or, whatever it is, it may be being, brought to Amazon via retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, where people are paying full price. You may be able to have a better price on it. You may have, be able to bring, hundreds or thousands or, dozens more products to Amazon, that aren't being sold. And, that list that you get from us, should be, your base that you're judging it on. You shouldn't judge the whole line just on, there's too much competition, because, in reality, you could be bringing hundreds more products, and you could potentially be getting an exclusive, with that brand, because you're able to, they can sell to one person instead of selling to 100 people. There's, and there's a whole line of products that you can bring to the platform and, really bring value to that brand, as well as grow your business, because none of those products are already here. They're already things that are selling well, and you won't have to worry about all the problems with this. So, please take some of this, take heed of some of these ideas, and, not just ignore products that are, also being listed by Amazon, or were listed at some point in the past by Amazon, because you never know when they're in and out of stock, who they're giving the buy box, without doing the proper research.